Well, hello there, everybody. Good afternoon. Lovely to have you with us. Thank you for joining us. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. My favorite kind of day, sunny, not too hot. My name is Sharon Parento, and I want to welcome you to our Zoom video tour of Richmond Hill condos. I'm really excited about the selection of properties that we have for you today. We have a total of 7 different condos that we're going to be showing you, but those have all been very carefully selected to be a representative sample of what you can expect to find in Richmond Hill or Markham or Newmarket. So we see the same kind of product in all different kinds of neighborhoods, but Richmond Hill has some beautiful buildings. When we started doing these, of course, back when COVID shut things down, there was very little inventory to choose from. It was difficult not to see the same buildings over and over again. But we have found out that the inventory is much greater right now. I actually had 100 different condos to look at last night as we were choosing them. And this is our criteria. Our criteria was 2 bedrooms or 3 bedrooms. So 2 or 3 bedrooms from 450 up to about 900. That's a wide range, but the bulk of the listings are in between $500,000 and $600,000. So for most of my clients, that's really a good metric. They want to have some money in the bank after they downsize. And so there's a lot available in that kind of middle section. Okay, so let's get started without further ado. So here I am, and we started doing these in person pretty soon when I realized that a lot of my clients had a lot of fear and misinformation about condos. They thought, oh, they're just so tiny. How could I downsize from my house to something that's small? And really, it helped me to get out into the community and spend 1 day a week in a different condo market and really be able to compare. Also find some good opportunities, things like estate sales or condos that have been on the market for a long time and maybe might be subject to a bit better price negotiation. So it ended up being a really valuable tool in my own education about condos, and also for my clients, right? So I really strongly believe that educated clients make better decisions, and when they make better decisions, they'll be happier with me too. So it is definitely a win-win proposition. Now, I'm not here to sell you anything. That's not the purpose, even though I am. I'm a kick butt realtor, but that's not what I'm here for. Right now, what I'm here for is to teach you about the condo market in Richmond Hill, okay? So this has been a collaboration of Melissa and I. Melissa is our operations coordinator, and so I want to give her a big shout out, thank her for all her efforts. And this is what we would call a curated market tour, okay? So we've been selective of what we show you today. So let's have a look. Before we begin anything, I want to remind you about looking at an MLS sheet. Now, every single day, I have these come into my email. I'm looking for clients for a specific type of property, or I'm watching the market in an area that we work in. But I don't presume that most people really know how to decode these for the maximum amount of information. So we are going to spend a quick minute doing that. So let's just jump right in. And the easiest access point is the price, the list price. It's super easy to think, well, that's what I'm going to have to pay, but it's not necessarily what you're going to have to pay. I'm going to say that most condos are selling for about 95 to 90% of list price. So as a buyer's agent, I have to go out and do my due diligence for you to see, is this good value? Does this represent an accurate list price? And then it doesn't matter what they're asking. It matters what you're willing to offer. And that's got to be another informed decision. So list price is one of those things. We also want to pay attention to the property taxes. Look, for this building here in Markham, just the edge of Markham to Richmond Hill, it's $2,700 a year for property taxes. So that can be a substantial savings. And we're going to see a huge variance in the property taxes between the buildings that we're looking at. Most of the older buildings have lower property taxes than the brand new construction. That's just because the rate way back when they were originally constructed was down here low, and they can only do small incremental adjustments every year. So when a new condo is constructed, it's getting the full brunt of today's proper market valuation. So in a way, these older buildings are not paying their fair share of property taxes. But for my downsizing clients, it's a great thing to consider when you are working out your budget. Okay, so maintenance fees, let's just have a look. Okay, so we've got price, we've got property taxes, we've got maintenance fees. Now this is a shocking number to people who are used to just paying as you go. And that's the way it is with our homes. When we need a new furnace, we buy a new furnace. When we need a new roof, we buy a new roof. We don't set aside $500 a year for a new roof. We just don't work that way typically. But condos have to. They have to have a certain amount that goes into an emergency fund. We call that the reserve fund. There's a certain amount that is going into the ongoing management, the taking care of the grounds. And then also they have a schedule of replacement costs that they have to abide by so that nothing actually breaks. You don't wait for something to break in a condo when you've got several hundred people living there. So all of these things are contributing to the condo fees every month, but it's not apples to apples. You really have to take a look at what's included. First of all, things like the building amenities. The most expensive building amenity is anything related to human resources. So security guard, concierge, all of that is more expensive in terms of its contribution to maintenance fees than something like an indoor pool, which you might think is very expensive. So it's also determined by the size of your unit, how many parking spots, whether or not you have a balcony, whether or not you have a storage unit. All of those things contribute small amounts to your overall maintenance. And then finally, what utilities are included. These older condos, again, you pay one fee and everything is included typically. So really your only extra cost would be your own internet use, but we have amazing amenities in some of these buildings, and then other ones, they're just a little more basic. So the maintenance fees, of course, reflect that. So let's have a look a little further. We have the example of what's included in the building, and it varies by building. And then we also have those utilities, as I mentioned. In this case, all the utilities, including even a basic cable package, are included. So it doesn't matter if you're here, up at the cottage, down in Florida, in Europe, it doesn't matter. Whenever we can travel, oh, won't that be nice? It doesn't matter. Your place is being taken care of and you can just turn the key and skedaddle. Okay, now we also want to look at things like how many beds, bedrooms, and bathrooms. In Richmond Hill, we actually have more three-bedroom condos than a lot of other communities, which I guess is kind of cool. Those older ones on BAFE, for example, every floor has 3-bedroom units on the corner. And then some of the other older buildings as well have 3 bedrooms. By and large, the more common layout is a 2-bedroom plus a den. And sometimes when we're looking at new construction, it's a little sketchy what they call a den, like some little alcove where you could maybe put a desk. And the major thing is that it's a multi-purpose room. So 3 bedrooms, if you need 3 bedrooms in terms of your family's composition, we can search for that, and how many bathrooms as well. Okay, also the storage locker I mentioned, it's a great idea to have for those surplus items that are big and bulky that you don't want taking up room in your unit. So things like snow tires or luggage or even off-season clothes you could put down into the storage locker. Okay, so they're a valuable additional storage capacity. One, underground parking. If you're a single car family, no problem. We can always get that for you. Now, second car, if you still have two cars that you're driving, what we often have to do is find you a second spot privately. So we put a notice up in the mailroom and say who's got a spot to rent out. And conversely, if you purchased a unit with two spots but you only needed one, we could set up a little side business for you in terms of renting it to people who in the building need a second spot. So it's maybe $100 a month, maybe less, depends on the building. Okay, but this is something we all can select for when we do those customized searches. Okay, moving on. Do you see this huge spread in the size from 1,400 to 1,600 square feet? That's a big difference. Well, the problem is that there are minor variances between units. That's one issue. So we have to do a bit more digging to find out the exact square footage. The other thing is that when we upload to the MLS system, it's a form that we fill out, and it only has a drop-down menu with this range. We don't usually see it as an option unless we write it in, as this agent has done, right into the description. If it's something we really want to emphasize, that it's 1,404 square feet, which is huge, bigger than this townhouse I'm sitting in. So we really want to do our due diligence in finding out how big that unit is. And one of the ways we can do that is just a little hint. If we are in the same building, we can tell if one unit is bigger than another by the maintenance fee, and because it is partly calculated on the size of the unit. Okay, so we have different ways of finding out the information you need, but anyways, just something to pay attention to. Now, another thing we're going to show you today on our tour is a lot of people don't want to be up on the 17th floor. That's pretty typical. I'm going to say a lot of my clients say I want to be on the 5th floor or below. However, penthouse units have some nice features as well. First of all, you've got nobody above you, and they tend to have taller ceilings in the unit. And also, you get those beautiful skyline views. When you purchase new construction, this is just a sidebar, all of the ones we are looking at today are resale, not from the builder. But if you were to purchase one from a builder, you have to pay a bonus for every floor you go up. For example, I purchased an investment condo at Young and Steeles from new construction from plans, and it was on the 39th floor, and I had to pay $39,000 extra. Why? Because you escape the traffic noise, any of the street noise, you get those nice views. So it doesn't really translate in a resale, but it's interesting to note that it is considered kind of a premium. But a lot of my clients want to be on the ground floor or the second floor, and that's just personal preference. When we send you listings like this, there's a whole gallery of pictures that you can click on. It's not just the one. We also want to determine what side of the building you want to be on, because you can have radically different views. I'm thinking of the Dynasty buildings, is it Dynasties or Landmark? Landmark buildings of Thornhill at Bayview and John. One side of the building, you are overlooking the train tracks and the top of a grocery store. The other side of the building, you're overlooking the beautiful forest of the Shouldes Hospital grounds. So it makes a huge difference. So these are things we all have to consider when we are making our minds up about if the condo is right for us. Now, the client remarks have been written by the listing broker who is trying to entice you to considering this property with all the features, all the things that are really noteworthy. And in this case, it has our square footage, as we said, and what kind of view it's got, and so it's kind of all there to lure you in. And then also with the extras, that's something that the public sees with the MLS listings, and that's usually including all of the appliances, all the light fixtures, all the window coverings. People don't move fridges anymore, or unless it's something really super special, in which case it's an excluded item. The most common time we see that is when it's like a chandelier and people have a sentimental attachment to the dining room chandelier. but most of the time what you see is what you get. Okay. So finally, what do we need to do as realtors to help our clients get the inside scoop? Well, one of the things is days on market. If you've been on a live tour with me before, like we went out in person, you know that one of the tricks of the trade for listing agents is when a property gets too high up on the days on market, they cancel it and relist it. And so it says it's been on market 13 days, but how many other times was it listed? Is this the first listing? This is an important tool for negotiation. If it's been on the market 187 days, well, then we want to step in and say, hey, you should consider our low ball offer so that you're not on the market another 187 days, okay? The other thing that you don't see from privacy regulations, but I see, is who is selling the unit. Most of the time it's, you know, Mr. and Mrs., or, you know, Mrs. and Mrs., or Mr. and Mr., but sometimes it's an estate sale, sometimes it's a power of attorney sale, and sometimes it's a bank sale, i.e. they defaulted on their mortgage and the bank repossessed it. Now, in those latter three choices, again, I feel like there's more room to bargain on the price. If you're buying an estate sale, the family is paying the maintenance and the property taxes and the utilities. And I kind of consider it, from my standpoint, that it's found money for them. It's unlikely that their elderly relative had a mortgage on it. So, like, this is the best opportunity to go in with a low ball offer. I hate to be kind of mercenary about it, but it is a good opportunity. And many of my investor clients, we work specifically looking for those type of, almost like a crisis sale, just because it gives better, you know, price flexibility. Okay. Now, finally, it's how the brokers are wanting the offers to be submitted. And we're going to just briefly touch on this. In the market right now, we have two ways of listing a property for sale. Number one way is the traditional way. You put it up, the price is there, you accept an offer at any time. The other way that's happening is you put up the price, but you say, we're not taking any offers for 2 weeks, or 10 days, or 2 weeks. And so there's a specific date that only us realtors can see. And it's a bit of a code to say we're trying to get a bidding war going. And the price that we see is probably not the price we expect to fetch in the end. We're looking for an over asking sale price. It doesn't always work out. We just did this in Pickering and it didn't work. So there's a lot of, you really have to know what's going on in your marketplace. I'm going to tell you that none of the condos we're looking at today are holding back on accepting offers. I'm just telling you that it's not what's going on in the condo market in Richmond Hill, because there's 100 condos for sale. Unless it's some kind of unicorn, why would you wait to put an offer on? Okay, anyway, moving forward, let's have a look. You can see that Richmond Hill condos are predominantly up Yonge Street. We go as far north as, like, almost not quite King Side Road, but maybe Stouffville Side Road. And then we do have a few along Highway 7 that are still considered Richmond Hill, okay? But really, the development, as we see, is going straight up Yonge Street. So let's have a look. This is our most northerly property that we're looking at. And the reason I chose it is because it is a totally out of the box type of property, okay? This is so unique. This is brand new construction at Yonge and Jefferson Side Road. It's a low rise condo because the developers are still working away at trying to get these 50-story buildings. But right now, I think they're capped at 10. And what's really cool about this is that these people purchased 2 side-by-side units and pulled down some walls in between them and turned it into a 3-bedroom unit with a huge ground floor terrace. So I know so many people have a hard time leaving their garden. Kind of, it's like a love-hate relationship. They don't want to be looking at somebody else's balcony or overlooking a gas station. So here is a property that I think is pretty cool. So this is brand new construction. So we know that everything is going to be in good shape. There's no concerns about boiler systems or any of that. And they turned this, as I said, into a 3-bedroom unit with a huge terrace, and it has 2 parking spots and 2 lockers. So this is downsizing without actually downsizing, okay? Because you have all the building amenities. You can see there, you're allowed to have a barbecue. Like personally, I could not live without a barbecue, but everybody's different. We've got bike storage, concierge, we've got a gym, a party meeting room, visitor parking, and wait till you see the pictures. It's pretty cool. As development moves up Yonge Street, I think you're going to see the prices of these units increase over time relative to some of the other areas. So let's look. See, we just have this ginormous property. And then we've got this wraparound to an L-shaped terrace, which is really super cool. And again, since you can have a barbecue, you can really turn this into an outdoor living space. Okay, it's expensive. Don't not gonna lie. Look, it's like $1 million, and it certainly, in my estimate, does not present as $1 million condo, right? Like if you've been to any of my seminars, you know nobody needs to have tea towels on their oven door. It does not present as $1 million condo, but for raw square footage and just as an out of the box kind of idea, I like this idea a lot as a ground floor unit with a huge terrace. And I really don't think you have to spend $1 million to get this equivalent product. I think we can find it somewhere else at a better price point. But isn't that that's ingenious? So when people talk about condos as being small and boxy, I like these kinds of examples to counter that. Okay, moving on. Okay, now I think this is the building that I have chosen as the sweetheart. Again, forgive me, this is really expensive, but it's the only thing for sale right now that I haven't shown recently. The other unit for sale in here, it has been on the market a while, so this is a brand new listing, only been on the market 12 days. So forgive me for this price point, but I really wanted to highlight that we have different lifestyle choices in Richmond Hill, which is so cool, including this one, which is almost, well, somewhere between 1,400 and 1,600 square feet with 2 underground parking. And it's in this beautiful Renaissance building right on Yonge Street. And it's built by Tridal. This is so lovely inside. It's got this oldie-timey, oldie world concierge, this 2-story foyer. It's really, really beautiful. But let's look at this floor plan. I love when they include a floor plan. So one of the things that people dislike intensely about some of the smaller units is that when you walk in through the foyer, that you're right into your main living area. This has a more reception area, you can see, with a double closet. And we have basically 2 plus 1. That's this office on the bottom left-hand corner. That's the plus 1. It doesn't have any exterior windows and it doesn't have any interior closets, but it would be a wonderful work from home space, a guest room, a second TV room, whatever you wanted to turn it into. But this is what we call a split layout, meaning that the bedrooms are on kind of opposite ends of the unit. So we have a formal dining room, which is really super nice. We have a kitchen with its own eating area as well. And you can see the configuration there of the dining room in the middle. This really feels more homey. And the building is just absolutely stunning. And I don't know how old this building is. I think it's less than 10 years old. I think it's like maybe 9 or 8. They just redid all the wallpaper and all the carpets in the foyer. In the foyers. I don't know why they did that, but everything in this building is so nice. Look at the bottom picture. That's not the condo. That's one of the reception areas. So it's got lots of wood and lots of great features. But let's look at this unit. What I wanted to show you was that den. See, they've got all these custom built-ins as a work from home space. That's super nice. That's a really expensive upgrade. And they've done the same thing with the kitchen. That is not the builder's original kitchen. Trust me, it's not. And that built-in seating area, the window boxes, I just love that. So there's been a lot of money spent on this unit, but and the bathroom, totally brand new bathroom cabinets and new flooring throughout the unit. So they've spent some money. But really, this Renaissance building on Yonge Street is a wonderful lifestyle choice for somebody who wants to be in the heart of the action, wants to be able to take transit with no problem. And hopefully our town council will get a bit better representative sampling of businesses back now that COVID is, kind of here to stay. We got to keep the businesses going. So now that's one end of the spectrum. And we're going to the complete other end of the spectrum. We've called this the bargain. The bargain, because there's more than one way to measure bargain. It's not the lowest priced condo in Richmond Hill that is 2-bedroom. I think the lowest was about $100,000 lower. But it's all about value, including things like, look at the property taxes. It's $2,000. Let me just go back. What were the property taxes here? Property taxes here are $4,100, so twice as much. I know it is a bigger unit, but it's also a newer condo, and that's, like I mentioned, that's where it starts to be impactful. But look at this. We've got a low purchase price, $560. We've got low property taxes, and we've got a reasonable maintenance fee that includes everything except for hydro. It has all the basic amenities. It's not super fancy. It's not deluxe like what we just saw, but not everybody is interested in a luxury lifestyle. They just need functional. They want to be conscious of their budget. And I think this one really fits the bill. So let's have a look at it. Look what they've done at this price. Pretty impressive. Okay, so there's the building. There's the amenities. It's got everything we need. And look at that kitchen. They have opened up the kitchen area. So you see those kind of awkward looking pillars with the light switches on them? That's a constraint of the architecture, because lots of times in a condo, the big electrical cable, the conduit, runs from floor to floor and it can't be moved. So that's why they have that rather awkward looking pillar. I've seen different iterations of dealing with that, and this one isn't too offensive, but I really like the fact that this is completely renovated at $559, and it's a good size. It's about 1,200 square feet. It's 2-bedroom. It's got some really nice upgrades to it. They've done things stylishly and current, but not too over the top. Trust me, we've seen some condos in Richmond Hill that look like a discotheque. I have no idea who plans to live there, but they are much fancier than I am. This is more mid-level, but certainly still very nice with the feature wall of wallpaper. The issue when you buy a renovated condo is that you have to like what they've done, right? You're paying the maximum price for a unit in that building is going to be one that has been renovated. And if you don't like this, for example, this particular choice of flooring, are you really gonna want to tear it out if you have paid kind of top dollar for the building? But still in all, for a 2-bedroom, 2-washroom, fully renovated condo with all those amenities near Bayview and Major Mackenzie, I think this is a really good bargain. Okay, not cheap, but well valued. Okay, moving on. What have we got next? I never know. Harding. Okay, so this unit has also been fully renovated. This is going to be the after. So we are taking an older building, a building that has big units, good amenities, central location on a nice park-like setting right at Yonge and Harding. And I'm going to show you what they've done in terms of renovating it. Again, you have to like the renovations. So let's look at this. Do you see what they've done? They've kept the kitchen boxed in. That's the original layout. They didn't change the flooring, the the layout of the kitchen, because that window, no, right behind the TV, you see the ductwork for the heating and air conditioning. Again, it's a constraint. I've seen places that do open up that wall, but then have the pillar, but they've chosen not to. And I think that the renovations that they did are super tasteful. And this is a really great building. I stopped showing this building for a while because the top floors don't have balconies. They have the solarium that you can see peeking through that one picture there. And because I couldn't imagine living without a balcony, I just presumed my clients couldn't either. But some people would rather have the space than have a balcony that they're not likely to use. Not everyone loves the outdoors. My 16-year-old hates when we go up to my parents' place up north. She goes, I don't like the nature. It's like, where have I failed? But this is completely move-in ready, and it's at a reasonable price point in a building that I love. Do you know they have this little low recreation facility that is shared by the 3 buildings, 20, 30, and 40 Bay. All of them share it. And they have a recreation coordinator in there, which is so cool. It's like you go take an underground tunnel to the recreation facility. They've got a desk there. They've got Zumba classes. They've got like all kinds of programming there for you if you want it. If you don't want it, you know, nobody's going to make you go, but it's nice to have that option. Okay, so we have exercise room, games room, indoor pool, security guard, and it's on a great location. It's, you know, as you know, close to Yonge Street, but not directly on Yonge Street. So it's a nice, quiet, beautiful setting. So let's look at the other interior pictures. Much more neutral. I think the floor is livable. But what I love, let's just talk about this shower. I included a picture of the shower deliberately because if your intention is to age in place, then having a shower with a low step-in is a great renovation to consider. Okay, so we always suggest if you have 2 washrooms, you do keep the bathtub for one of them because some people like having a bath like me. But if you're going to do the renovations for your own safety, then to have just a low lip or no lip, they're starting to make those as well with no lip. So you could just wheel yourself in if you needed to. And the other great thing is you can see with the laundry, we have a laundry room, not just a laundry closet. Always these units have a ton of storage. Okay, so this is a fully renovated one, and very wisely in the top right picture, they've taken the solarium. Like originally they had patio doors on them. Like what were they thinking? But they've just or they were ceramic, ugly old ceramic. So they've taken the flooring and they've just extended it into the solarium and reclaimed that as livable space. I've seen this used as a dining room like it is here. I've seen it boxed in with drywall and turned into a 3rd bedroom to various levels of success. I've seen all different uses for that room, that solarium. And this unit, I think that makes perfect sense because it's right off the kitchen. Okay, you don't have an eating kitchen in this unit. You have the solarium instead. Moving on. Now, which one is this? Okay, so, this is our other, I just want to make sure. Yeah, so this is the before. We just saw the after. I hope you are inspired because that is a 40-year-old building. Here's another 40-year-old building on Weldrick. It is quiet, it is well-maintained. It does not have a lot of tenants. It's mostly older residents who euphemistically, I'm going to say, are aging out. But regardless, sorry, my mouse just went crazy. Sorry, mouse. Oh, geez, what did I do? Oh, sorry. That was me. Slideshow from the beginning, from current slide. Okay, so we're going to 33 Weldrick, just down the road. And this is also really big, 1,400 square feet, $625. I like the price. I think I might negotiate it a little lower because it's a great building. It's even serviced by a little community bus, which is so cool. All the amenities are there. This is a 2+2. So again, they've done a conversion. It was originally a 3-bedroom unit, and they converted it to 2 bedrooms and 2 offices. But look, this is quite dated. Yeah. Yes, we have the original 12 by 12 or something like that, 1 foot by 1 foot ceramic tiles everywhere. They did do some hardwood in the solarium area. We've got a lot of broadloom. We've got a kitchen that really needs a big makeover. The floor to ceiling, for example, really boxes these kitchens in. It makes, you know, it drops the ceiling by a foot and it makes it feel closed in. Get rid of this. I would get rid of that. I get rid of the carpet. The bathroom sink and cabinet look really close to original, if not original. We'd want to pull that out. So it's not going to be a cheap process. I'm definitely not going to lie, but what you want to focus on in these kinds of units is the unchangeable. And the unchangeable here is its massive size. It is huge. It is 1,500 square feet, more or less. And it has, you know, a great older community with a lot of amenities at a central location. So what would it cost? This is the question that my clients want to know. And I've worked with enough downsizers who have taken on a full renovation to know that this is probably about $100,000. So it's not cheap and it takes longer than you always expect. But at the end of the day, you would have a unit exactly the way you like it. We've seen 2 older units now that were renovated and you might not like their style, but in this case, you get to customize it to what you like, okay? And make it so that you could stay here for a long time and have accessibility and have a layout that works for you, okay? So there are a lot of advantages to taking this on as a project, because also don't forget, the minute you finish your renovation, you have already made money on it. This unit is going to be worth more than you probably spend on it. So as a long-term investment, again, it's an excellent prospect, okay? But you have to be willing to probably own 2 properties while you're working on this. And it's not available to everyone. Lots of people just want the turnkey convenience of the 2 previous listings that I showed you that were totally renovated. Now, so we've got 2 extremes. We've got fully renovated and we've got almost completely unrenovated. I'm going to suggest to you that most units that we look at, most condos, are somewhere in between on that spectrum, right? On that continuum, just like our houses are. Like we might do part of, you know, the floors 1 year, but maybe the bathrooms are still a little ratty-tatty. Like there's all different combinations of how we renovate. And it's not very often that we see homes that have been completely gutted and renovated and left investor. Same thing with condos, okay? So here is the renovation opportunity. This is the before at a much lower price point for such a large unit. Okay, now this is another ground floor unit. You see it's 105. It's in a building I really like, but it's definitely not $1 million. First of all, it's smaller than what we normally show. Most of the time we're looking at least 1,000 square feet. This is a little smaller, but I love this building. And I like the idea of having a ground floor unit in this really nice building. It's perfect for a single person because you still have the second bedroom as a guest room or an office or a den or whatever you want. We've got an open concept living dining area. As you can see, a proper entrance foyer with a kitchen off to the side. It's a very usable layout. And what you notice in this kind of smaller, tighter quarters is that there's no wasted space. We don't have any hallways leading down to bedrooms like we do in the old condos. We don't have any big, you know, extra space that is not usable. This is just perfectly usable space. So this building is the Vineyards, and it's really super nice. The whole building is nice like this with tons of amenities, and it has a luxury feel, but without that Renaissance by Tridel luxury price tag. Okay, so definitely nice, manageable, but also ground floor. Love it. Okay, so let's have a look. Oop. Okay, so I asked Melissa to include a picture of the hallways just because it's really nice. Like this is all we had to work with. We only have what the realtor posts, but I just wanted to show you that the whole building is really nice, including the hallways, which makes a difference when you're walking to your unit every day. You know, it makes you feel good that you're in a nice place. And now what we see with this layout is that it is 100% typical of new construction. This one happens to be 900 square feet. But if we went up to 1,100 square feet or 1,400 square feet, the layout doesn't change. The rooms just get bigger. So you really notice the narrowness of this space when we're looking at that picture of the kitchen. But I'm going to tell you, we see this all the time with the peninsula and the kitchen like tucked into the corner, just like that. We just see it in a wider space, a longer counter. But we have some nice upgrades here. It's been nicely presented, and it is on the ground floor, but I don't think you have the same security issues because there isn't a separate entrance here. You still have what's ostensibly a balcony, right? So we don't have anybody who's going to be jumping over the bushes and kind of jimming open up your lock. So this is a fully luxury building, again, without the luxury price tag, and that's why I included it. But you can see it's pretty tight quarters. But you know, it's a nice option if you are looking for a ground floor, but don't, you're worried about the security. This is a good idea. Okay, I want to make sure I haven't missed anything else. Okay, yes, I think that's this is what I wrote about this. It's that it's better for a single person, somebody who can live within these confines of the space. Okay, now this one here. Let me just check my notes. Oh, this is another one of our outside the box condos. Okay, so you see this picture? The top floor is what we are looking at today, penthouse 16. So we've seen the ground floor, lots of advantages. I have to say, especially if you have a pet, being on the ground floor is a terrific option. You can let Fluffy out without having to go through the lobby. And plus, we just purchased a ground floor unit to a homeowner, for a homeowner who was downsizing, and he doesn't want to use the elevators. So that's the other big advantage of a ground floor unit. But now here we have a completely different kind of property. It's a 2-story condo apartment. I know, your mind is blown. Mine is too. Most of the time we just think of condos as being apartments, but in this case we have a loft. So lots of times, like, not to get too personal, but lots of times people who've been married a long time, they like to live in different spaces. You don't want to be looking at them 24/7. They need a separate TV room, or you just would like to continue with that 2-story living. And this is an amazing transitional property. So it's like living in a townhouse, but you have all the building amenities of a condo. So it's a really good transitional property. You don't have mobility issues. The stairs aren't a concern. You want to live on 2 stories still, so that you've got your bedrooms upstairs. You've got your living room, kitchen, and dining room downstairs with a powder room. So, it's a great option as somebody who's not quite ready for an apartment, but doesn't want to have to take care of their house anymore. Do you know who I see this as being great for? Is somebody who does a lot of traveling. They're getting rid of their house, not because of stairs, but because they just don't want to have to worry about grass or lawn maintenance or any of that kind of stuff. So it's a big, bright, beautiful unit on 2 stories. It's kind of like a younger building. It's not brand new, so there's not going to be any surprises about the maintenance. They've got an operating budget that they've been working with for a couple of years. So we know that we can track the maintenance and how much it's gone up every year as kind of a predictor of the future. And they've done some nice upgrades. Those cabinets, the kitchen cabinets there are an upgrade. The builders were probably just plain white. So they've done some nice things there. And it has a house feel, like a townhouse feel. There are quite a few of these around right now, either on the top floor, the top 2 floors having a loft, or sometimes it's the ground floor unit that is 2 stories, and then they build the rest of the condo tower above it. I've seen that as well. The Minto Water Gardens, Young and Center Street in Thornhill on the west corner, those have that configuration. And so there are 2-story condos on the bottom and 1 story all the way up. Really super nice. Okay, so let's just see what's going on here. Okay, so you can see that we have a balcony, kitchen, living area, and yeah, it looks like we've got more than 1 balcony, 1 for the main floor and 1 for the bedroom. So I just wanted to show you that the bedrooms are arranged like a typical home upstairs with 3 bedrooms, a little landing area that they're calling like a den. Not sure how that could be a den, but you get the idea, okay? So it looks like new construction, it feels like new construction, but it has all the space spread out for you to enjoy. Okay, just want to check our time. Okay, we're doing great. Okay, so that was actually our last property. So let's just recap while I have you captive here. And if you have any questions, this is a great time to type them into the text box. Okay, so let's see what we've had. We've had bargain, we've had luxury, we've had ground floor, we've had penthouse, we've had pre-renovation, we've had post-renovation. We've had prices from 500 up to $1 million. So a really good cross section, all 2 bedrooms at least. And I think that you can see that we can do this in different neighborhoods like we do. Let's go there. And you can come back and visit with us, and we will look at what's available on the MLS in our other neighborhoods. We continue to do these virtually. It's great. I mean, you could be in your pajamas right now and I wouldn't know, but it's a great way. We can see more properties this way than when we are actually going in a car together. We don't have the travel time. We put this together for you at no cost or obligation. And trust me, it takes us, every one we do takes us several hours between Melissa and myself. You know, this is a several-hour ordeal for us, but it really helps us. Like I said, it helps me keep in the market and really helps you to see what's available and kind of the different options, right? So give you a better idea of what you could select when it's time for you to consider this. So please join us. We're going to be going all around the town, and you can come back and see what else is there. If you have any questions, please type those in now. And I'm just going to tell you about our other seminars that we've transferred to webinars. So those of you who have met me by our in-person seminars, well, this is a great way to get the teaching, again, from the convenience and safety of home. We have workbooks that go with each one of these. And you are welcome to join us for any of these seminars. For the month of August, we have just allowed them to be instant access. So we've pre-recorded for August because, believe it or not, we are super busy in August with new listings. The market is going crazy. We're finally having our spring market that COVID shut down from. And so we've pre-recorded these, and you can watch them at your leisure at any time. So sorry, I just hover over the mouse and it goes bonkers. And I see that there are some comments. Many times people ask me, well, how am I going to get from my house to a condo when I've got all this clutter? So we have a 30-day decluttering challenge. You can sign up and get a little tip, task, and some inspiration to go with your perspiration. Okay, so join us for that. And lots, like as I said, this is a very dynamic seller's market right now. You will likely fetch 15% more this year than you would have gotten for your house the same time last year. I think 15% is probably a conservative estimate too. So If you'd like to know how much your property is worth, I'm happy to provide you with a neighborhood evaluation. And if you would like me to give you a specific, like very accurate evaluation, it just requires either a walkthrough or you sharing your screen with me and you walking me through on your phone. But either way, it would be very interesting to find out what your most important asset is worth. Okay. And then we also have a Facebook group. If you are on Facebook, please join us. It's called S.M.A.R.T Social Connection. We get together. It has nothing to do with real estate. It's just a way of us staying connected, because I still feel like I'm not as, you know, I like being with people. I like connecting with people, and it's not always so easy today, even still. Okay, so let's look at your comments. Some comments. Okay, thank you. You're welcome. What's the name, condo, townhouse of the last building that you showed? Okay, let me just, you will be getting this sent to you as well, so you can look it up online. Did you know that it has an MLS number that we share with you? It's like a telephone number, but that building was 370 Highway 7. So it's on Highway 7 in Leslie, and it's penthouse number 16. And they, as I said, it's not rare. It's something that more and more builders are doing, is that they are doing mixed density as part of their development. So we see it a lot in Markham, where the same condo development has both townhouses and condo apartments, all under the same umbrella, property management, all the same amenities. I really think it's a great idea, but it's just something that we have to be on the lookout for. Is it a condo, townhouse, and not an apartment? Well, it is still, it's called a 2-story apartment because it's not a standalone condo. It's not a standalone townhouse. I really also like condo townhouses. Can I just tell you, we did a property search for our clients, and we went and we looked at a bunch of really nice condo townhouses. And lots of people say to me, oh, I don't want the maintenance. But when you see what a townhouse looks like that has not been maintained, like your individual unit can be great, but the neighborhood looks like crap, just being very frank. Once you get into a condo townhouse complex, yes, you're paying $300 or $400 a month, but all the windows are done. There's no peeling paint. The roofs are in good condition. The paving is up to date. There's no cracks with dandelions through them. So twice now I have shown clients freehold townhouses like what I live in. And when we saw the rest of the complex, they said, no, we would rather be someplace where they're taking care of the snow and the grass and the outside maintenance. So I really think for people who are still active, and you know, that's a great option. So yes, I think maybe we should do townhouses as a webinar. But anyways, lots of options. You know, you really can name what you want. You can tell us what you want, and we can find it for you, whether that's a condo apartment or a townhouse or a bungalow, whatever it is. Okay, are there much stairs in a condo townhouse? Because stairs are a problem for me. Yes, they are. There's at least one flight of stairs up, and that's usually 13 stairs. So I think there's one other development that I know of at McCowan and Burr Oak, and it has ground floor units, but they're all bungalows. So the only way to explain it to you is that you have direct access to your unit on the main floor, and the rest of the condo is built above you. So there's no elevators. Okay, so I've spoken more about the townhouses than I intended to, but I'm glad for the question. If you have any other questions, you know that you can email me, you can text me, we can chat, we can go meet on a patio and have a cup of tea, whatever you like. Okay, so thank you so much for being here, and happy to follow up with you about any of your questions. Okay, so thank you. Have a wonderful day. Really appreciate you guys being here. Bye for now.